The president of Manitoba's Brandon University admits the school made a mistake in making an alleged sexual assault victim sign a behavioral contract.
We're listening to our students, we're listening to our faculty, and we're taking action.
The story came to light after a female student posted about it anonymously online. She says she was told not to contact her alleged attacker or talk about the incident with anyone but a campus counselor, or else she'd be suspended or expelled. Joining us now from Ottawa is Daphne Gilbert. She's an associate professor of law at the University of Ottawa. Thanks so much for joining us this morning to talk about this.
Good morning.
So, in response to the criticism, and we just saw Brandon, Manitoba, backtrack, said it was a mistake. But I guess the question that remains for universities in particular is what's the right way to deal with it? In terms of should a contract be in place, and if so, what's the framework? What was your reaction to the storm of controversy over this contract?
Well, I think it's a very ill-advised contract that they had at Brandon, and I think it's unfortunate that it is being called a behavioral contract. I think that confidentiality in these issues is something that all universities struggle with because we want to protect the rights of both parties. And in this case, it looked like it was a gag order against a complainant, but there are very good reasons to want to have some kind of confidentiality as an understanding between the parties as a process is underway for an investigation.
So how do you develop then a policy or a framework even? Because I know in Ontario, universities in Ontario have been asked to do that by June. Where's the starting point for this so that the rights of the complainant are looked after, the resources are found for the complainant, and also due process is looked after?
Yeah, so we're right in the middle of that struggle at my university as we're drafting the policy in response to Ontario's legislation. And what we have focused on is the starting point of, we believe survivors. We believe complainants when they come forward. And so the whole focus of our effort is around supportive measures for complainants. So we're focusing most of our resources on having a sexual violence office that will have counseling and training for incoming students and bystander training. And we're partnering with Ottawa Rape Crisis Centers to offer counseling on campus. So that's the first point for us. But we are also developing a formal complaint process, a standalone sexual violence policy, so that complainants can come forward and make a formal complaint. And that's where the confidentiality measures are really important. Because there, as you said, we have to worry then about having some due process rights for people who are being accused of sexual violence on a university campus. The way that we're approaching it is to emphasize that we're not a system of punishment within the university. It's not like a criminal justice system. It is, our mission is not to punish students, and so, we're coming at it from that vantage point.
So then what about the criminal justice system work, and how does the university policy kind of work with that? So that if the complainant, obviously the complainant has, the choice to make as to whether that goes further to the police. But how does maybe the formal process work with the criminal justice system?
Well, so first of all, we're trying to make sure that we have supports at the university for complainants who want to go to the police, that we can help them with that process. And then we would have to work with the police about whether it's more appropriate for us to suspend our internal process while the police investigation is underway, or whether they can operate as parallel processes. Our main concern is the safety of the university community. So for us, the first thing we would have to be thinking about is whether we think that there's a danger on the community, on the university campus, a predator, and we would have to make sure that our first priority was the safety of the people in our university community. But but working with the police, so we have a close relationship with the police here in Ottawa. We're lucky that way. But the processes have very different outcomes and very different points to them.
Well, and as mentioned, I know you're in the middle of that process to be done, in terms of Ontario anyway, by June, so we'll be following that. And thank you very much for your input this morning.
You're welcome. Thank you.